Hello, hello, hello. Well, just imagine how simple it would be if all the archaeology that's found everywhere in the world has a biblical meaning. But of course, it's hidden. All the time, National Geographic, History Channel, all make up all these stories, alien Anunnakis, yes? But maybe it was a bit simpler than that. Maybe they all were storehouses from the story of Joseph. Now, we're going to do is we're going to see a mini documentary of 7 minutes. Watch it together. This is from the wife of Ron Wyatt, the man who found every single archaeology that matches the Bible that I've shown in my channel. Okay? So is it? Or isn't it? Please. I wish anybody can join and you can write your comments. Okay? Please. Let's have a look. Right. Joseph and Imhotep. Imhotep, the character from the Saqqara complex. Okay? He was a myth till he was found. Everything is a myth till they find it. Okay? So, let's start. See, could Joseph and Imhotep have been the same person? What? See, Joseph built silos to store grain in key Egyptian cities. If one was to look for some lasting legacy of Joseph in Egypt that is mentioned in the Bible, it would be grain silos. See? Similarly, if one was to look for a lasting legacy of the Israelites in Egypt, it would have to be mud bricks, and lots of them. They are the two things that the Bible mentions that could have stood the test of time and are unique enough to positively confirm the existence of Joseph and his family in ancient Egypt. Joseph was the first to think of building grain silos in Egypt, and so naturally, one would look for the oldest grain silos to build in Egypt. So, what are these? See, let me see here. See, imagine the pyramid that obviously thousands of years after Joseph, it was used for tombs and whatever. But actually, this is the mystery of the tunnel systems and everything empty that they find inside, because they were built for the 7 years of famine in the Joseph story. And then, when 1,000 years and after that or whatever, after Joseph, no, after the famine, they were used for the next pharaohs as tombs, as to proclaim their leadership and whatnot. Let's start with this mini documentary, please. Okay. Joseph in Egypt, the research and discoveries of Ron Wyatt. Please, 7 minutes only. We go through it. Please. I bet everybody knows the story of Joseph, okay? So she's gonna explain it like in short. Please, in short. You must hear the resemblance between this Imhotep from Saqqara and Joseph. Practically the same. Please. Joseph was sold by his brothers. See, all these are the sons of Jacob, the line of Abraham. See, Isaac. This is this Joseph. Okay, for those who don't know, he was sold by his brothers to slaves as a slave in Egypt. And this is the story. Okay, he interprets the dreams of Pharaoh. And the dreams of Pharaoh are 7 years of plenty that are coming, and followed by 7 years of famine. and is the only one who interprets the dreams. So this Pharaoh, imagine the shock that he does not give him the throne because he is king, but the rest is yours, Joseph. In other words, so he puts him like first in command after the king to Joseph. And Joseph built everything for these 7 years of famine. He gathered every grain. Imagine all the products for eating. There weren't slaves who built all that. Of course they went. It was in Joseph's time. They became slaves after, when they knew that those people were people of Joseph and the line or whatever. So let's carry on, please, because look at the resemblance with this Imhotep. Please. See, Joseph promoted to second in authority to the Pharaoh. So Pharaoh was the king, and then he was Joseph. He was promoted for interpreting the dreams he had. He gathered other people, sorcerers and tarot, fortune tellers. Nobody interpreted his dreams. Only Joseph. See? Joseph the dreamer. Please. And the evidence.
On an island just below the first cataract of the Nile, an ancient inscription written around the 4th century BC was found which claimed to be a copy of a document written by Pharaoh Joseph more than 1,000 years earlier. It is the story of a land grant made by the Pharaoh to the priests of the god Num. It tells of 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty, how Pharaoh had a dream and consulted his chancellor for help. It contains most elements of the 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty story, although they were corrupted in this account written over 1,000 years after the event took place. But most importantly, the priests who wrote this inscription were relying upon the land grants made by this Pharaoh to justify their claim to some land. They were not writing what they believed was an ancient myth. They obviously believed the land grants made by Pharaoh Joseph to still be valid and of enough authority to still be in effect well over 1,000 years later. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh. Ancient Egyptian records list Joseph as the 16th Pharaoh of Egypt, and historians have classified him with the so-called Third Dynasty. His chancellor, named Imhotep, was first known through the writings of the Egyptian historian Manetho, who in the 3rd century BC wrote, "During Joseph's reign there lived a man named Imhotep, who had the reputation of the Greek god of medicine, and who invented the art."
So this could be the name of the Pharaoh of Joseph's time. Joseph. Let's continue.
Of building with hewn stone. The legends attributed to Imhotep were so incredible that he was considered to be mythical until this century, when excavations at Joseph's pyramid complex revealed the base of a statue with the name Joseph on it and the name Imhotep, with his long list of titles, one of which was chief under the king.
See? Chief under the king, among his many titles. Imhotep. See? What? But what else? What more evidence is there in this place? Wow, I don't know how. I'm a normal person. I'm no genius. I haven't got the language of many professionals doing video. But you can see this. You can see this. You can see now the evidence that I'm going to show you now. How you can link all this to the Joseph story. Wow. And the thing is that Joseph, after Joseph came Moses, who brought those who became slaves later out of Egypt. And when he was presented by God in Mount Sinai, See, Moses asked, "Who are you that I should tell my people?" And God answered, "I am who I am." So this is the first two letters here. I am. See, I am Hotep. This is from the God I am. And Hotep sounds like a Joseph in other translations. See, Joseph in Spanish is Jose. See, I am Joseph. I am in Spanish Jose. Hotep. Listen, it is Joseph, this figure. Because I'm going to show you this now.
King, a title which first appears with Imhotep and also was first bestowed upon Joseph. Imhotep was also the architect of Pharaoh Joseph's pyramid and surrounding complex, a veritable city within a city of incredible beauty and extremely advanced in design. Built on the plateau of Saqqara, adjacent to ancient Memphis, the pyramid within the complex is the first ever built in Egypt. Ron Wyatt spent a great deal of time here searching for evidence which might shed light on the biblical account. Such an event as the famine described in the story of Joseph and the distribution of grain to the other countries would have required a major facility and system
Grain.
of organization. When the famine came and Joseph's brothers came from Canaan to get grain from Egypt, we are told that they went to Joseph, which indicates that he personally oversaw the distribution, at least to those coming from foreign countries. And this would mean that there was certainly a central location or granary to which the foreigners came. The complex at Saqqara contains 11 massive pits, which even the Egyptians are at a loss to explain.
See, the Egyptians from that place that you go now, they actually don't know still what these 11 pits are. The only conclusion they say that they are tombs. But this is accessible in the outside. See, all the tombs were found inside, not these ones. Please.
They are not tombs, for all
Look.
tombs were underground and carefully sealed, while these were accessible from the surface,
See, look.
and they are extremely large.
Look at all these chutes. See? Connected to another pit, connected to another pit. So when they go down and collect the grain to hand it to people in bags, see, the grain will go down, and through the chutes, it will spread again and again and again and again. Please.
But most fascinating is the fact that they are all connected by chutes.
Look.
Ron believes these were the grain storage pits of the 7-year famine.
I'm gonna put that
Ron
picture
believes
so you can see it well. See? All those holes that you see, well connected. What?
Ron believes these were the grain storage pits of the 7-year famine. As grain was removed from one pit, grain from the other pits flowed through the chutes, making the grain always accessible from one location.
Now, when you see this, it looks exactly as the Pyramid of Giza. By the Pyramid of Giza in huge. See what I mean? Because the Bible says that the people came from every country because of this famine to collect the grain. No, only those 11 grain pits. And then you get this. See, more or less with the same things, all of them. So what is going on here? What is going on here? Look at this here. And Joseph stored up grain, okay, in great abundance. In great abundance. Like the sand of the sea. How many granules has the sand of the sea? See, until he ceased to measure it, for it could not be measured. Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain, like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. You know, come on. Something's going on here. Please, look at this. It's in the book of Genesis 41, 53, 42, 17. Then the 7 years of plenty which were in the land of Egypt ended, and the 7 years of famine began to come. As Joseph had said, the famine was in all lands, but in all the lands of Egypt there was bread. So when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Then Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph. Whatever he says to you, do." The famine was over, all the face of the earth. See? All the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold to the Egyptians. And the famine became severe in the land of Egypt. So all countries came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain, because the famine was severe in all lands. See, from all countries, Joseph opened all the storehouses, and the famine was all over the face of the earth. It wasn't only in Egypt. What? Please, let's continue.
These are within the wall of the step pyramid complex, which has only one entrance, and it opens to a long covered passageway with small cubicles on each side, each just the right size for a person to sit with perhaps a small table. The narrow, singular entrance would have allowed only a few people to enter at a time. There was no doubt in Ron's mind that this was the main center of grain distribution on a massive scale.
See, this would have been a picture in those days. People coming from everywhere. But I don't believe it was here alone. It was from the pyramids you see all over Egypt. And obviously there wasn't pyramids all over. But the pyramids you see. Come on. You imagine they want to take God and the Bible and our existence, that we come from a creator, that we rather come from two rocks banging into each other. And here we are. Come on. And every archaeology, of course, what are they going to say? Matches the scriptures. They do programs, National Geographic, Discovery Channel, History Channel, and they mix it up so much that for us, we know it as myths. But actually, when you start to see this and start to see the scriptures and start to see that God chose one man, and it was Ron Wyatt, the only man that you don't see in these channels, or History, or Discovery, National Geographic. Come on, where's Ron Wyatt there? And he found Noah's Ark, Mountain Sinai, everything that I've shown you here. Or you can go to his webpage, the Ark of the Covenant, the only thing he couldn't show. And he's the one that says that this is that place. See, just think about it. They don't want nothing for you to find out that it matches the scriptures and wait a minute, what's going on here? Please, let's continue.
As people arrived to get their grain, they lined up to enter the long corridor.
See?
Inside, they paid one of the cashiers in one of the cubicles for the grain. After payment was made, perhaps they were given a sack for grain which reflected the amount of their payment. Then they proceeded through the corridor straight to the area of the grain bins.
This Ron Wyatt. Of course, he's not a hotshot from National Geographic.
Once there, they descended the stairway next to the storage bins, handed their
This is where they go down and then go out the complex.
sack to a worker who filled it with grain and returned it to them. Then they exited through a small door on the lower level, which led to the outside of the complex.
When the pits were first excavated, bits of grain still remained in them.
And these programs, National Geographic, Discovery and Company, their tombs. And that man, what's his name? That archaeology from Egypt, that's in every program. He's in control of everything there, that Egyptian. From every program of Egypt and National Geographic. You know, the man from there, from that museum from Cairo. It's what he says it is. It's what it is. And yet again, nobody from Egypt speaks Egyptian. Yeah. I wonder if there's any real Egyptians from that time there. Yeah.
During the 7-year famine, Egypt gained great wealth and prominence among the nations through the selling of the grain. The Egyptians who lived in their cities along the Nile had little to do during the famine, since they had a 7-year supply of grain to rely on and were able to devote their time to the building projects of the Pharaoh, not as slaves, but as grateful subjects. The family of Jacob, who lived in the delta, separate from the native population, prospered and grew, exempt from the 1/5 taxation levied on the native population. From the time Jacob's family came to Egypt until the birth.
So it's coming to the end. So it roughly gives you an idea. Okay? That's why it's short and I like it. So what do you think? Yeah? Come on. This I can get out of the way. So, yep. Remember, stored up huge quantities. Huge quantities of grain. And it could not be measured, like the sand of the sea. What? Inside here. See? All the evidence is here. This is where they used to go down and get the grain. The inscription in that statue of that Pharaoh Joseph. And the grain pits. Tomb. A tomb. That's big. 11 tombs. Nobody inside. Well, come on. Look at this. Come on. What is this? This was the spectacular design of Joseph. Oh yeah. See all the grain pits. All the grain pits. Now try and put everything together. And they keep on nowadays finding more stuff there, more stuff, but it's in their hands. We're not going to see any evidence, like, for example, say, let's go here. Avaris, okay? This is the famous land of Goshen, later known as land of Ramesses. That's why in the book of Genesis you find the land of Ramesses. It's not that Ramesses was the Pharaoh of Moses, wasn't. But that editor in that time that wrote that book of Genesis knew that that time was the time that Pharaoh Ramesses ruled. So he knew that by speaking, that is the land of Ramesses, is where beneath it was the ancient city of Avaris, the land of Goshen. Yep. I'm going to show you a few images. See? In this complex here, there was practically 11 tombs, I think it was, or 12 tombs. There was 11 small ones, I think it was, and the 12 in big. And inside a statue that they broke. Yeah, this statue. And this famous coat. This is the colored tunic that his father gave him. And all his brothers, they were jealous, and that's where the story begins. So they sell him. Same brothers. Come on. Eh? And there you can see still the mark of the tunic. So it's broken. It's obviously they're going to break it there. No evidence. They want no evidence of this man. Absolutely no evidence. I wonder why. Why is that? No. Why is that? Huh? Look at this. The Daily Express. Matches the Bible. Why multicolored coat discovered in Egypt tomb could be Joseph. See? Come on. Okay, who wants to see these people? No way. Thank you. So the pyramids, well, storehouses. Yep. The thing is that you don't have to be clever to know this. This is part of the statue, see? It was broken off. See? Can still see that part of the tunic, the colored tunic. See? Come on. Face broken off. Huh? Yeah. I wonder why. Yep. See? Oh. Yep. So I'm going to leave it for now. I'm doing this because everything is so simple. I don't know why people make a fuss of everything. How this boy is going to know more than these hotshots, scientists from Harvard. So simple. But people with great minds, will try and find anything using their philosophy, their way of talking out of things, Yeah, they will always do that. Oh, this one. Oh, come on. And this, and this, and this, and this. Yeah. This is what they do. So, this is the story of Joseph. Joseph is Imhotep. I am Joseph. I am Hotep. Yep. So, I hope the people who see this in the replay, and haven't seen this, share it, so people can see what's going on here. Too much mystery with the pyramids of giants and aliens built it, and it was a generator for Tesla. Oh, what? Yeah. An ordinary man like me can see this. So can you. Please. Come on. Yeah. Well, about half an hour. Yeah, we'll leave it like this. So, anybody watch it, please share this stuff. Because we've been lied so many times. It's unbelievable. And we always get shut off, Yeah. I wonder why. And in this inscription, it talks about these 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty, but with the name Imhotep. Of course, the stories written in the stone was 1,000 years after that event of Joseph. So the stories got a bit corrupt, But it does mention the 7 years of famine and plenty, and this character, Imhotep, and this Pharaoh Joseph. Yeah. Exactly. See? Yepa. Well, I'll leave you all now. So, bye-bye then. God bless you all. I'm just a normal person. I'm not a professional. My English is terrible. So I come in the south of Spain, English colony. So we talk Spanish and English. That's why my Spanish and English ain't perfect, but I can speak and understand both. So I'm trying. For anybody that sees all this, at least if I can get the opportunity of just change one person and bring him close to God. Because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect still. I fall. But I try to get up with the hands of Christ. Because even though doubts and things creep in my mind, because I'm human, this is new for me. I still believe many times, maybe all this, I'm losing my head. So, love you all. God bless you all. Even if I don't know you, from whatever country you come, God loves you. And hold on, whatever you're going through. Please. I'm going through stuff. I'm not having a great time. And every time I stop this, it gets worse and worse and worse. So that's why I do this. It focuses me in what I have to do and out of the things of the world. So, love you all. Try and find something when you know you're going to do something. Try and find something to get that out the way, God sees that you're trying. And this is what I want to show him. And bit by bit, you're perfect. Huh? Yeah. Because we are not perfect. And whatever you've done, Christ came for you. See? Christ used a metaphor, like a parable, that he didn't come for the people who are good, came for you. People who think that they're bad, black sheep of the family or whatever. He came from you. See, who is healthy in need of a physician? It's not. But a person who's sick or is ill is in need of a physician. That's what he meant. He came for us. He didn't come for the good people, or he came for you. Right? I was a drug addict. I was in prison. I've done it all. So he came for you.